Hi, I'm KS Garner, and you're listening to the Solo Nerd Podcast. Today, I'll be speaking with Wells Thompson, co-creator behind the MechaTon comic series, here to promote Volume 1, now on Kickstarter until March 6th. Welcome back, Wells.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on.
Well, outside my introduction, and for our new listeners, who is Wells Thompson in his own words?
I am a comic book writer primarily. I also am an editor and prose writer, but primarily comic books. I've been doing this for about 7 years now. I am the co-creator behind MechaTon, which is a sci-fi action comedy through Scout Comics. Frankenstein the Unconquered, which I do on my own with Dalton Shannon, and The Cat Skin and the Rose, which is currently in production and available for pre-order. So
Sweet.
lots of different genres. Just interested in telling really fun character-driven stories.
Mm-hmm. So what is Megaton about, and what should readers expect in this volume?
MechaTon is about a brother and sister, Derek and Leah, who have graduated. They're don't have a lot of like direction in life, a lot of ambition, but they're good people fundamentally. And then one day, a glove crash lands on Earth. They discover that anything they punch while wearing it turns into a mech, which is great. They also discover that they can't remove it. So it is stuck to Derek's hand, and he has to deal with the consequences of having this awesome power now. It's very Scott Pilgrim meets Pacific Rim. There's a lot of unique mech action. There's a very like Saturday morning cartoon feel to it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And I guess since volume one is completed, what should they expect in the upcoming issues? Are those in the works right now, or is it just
Yeah,
promotion that?
we finished writing issue 6 just a little while ago. And I think we're looking to do 3 issues in the next chunk of story, the next arc. They'll be slightly longer each, but yeah, this first 5 issues have been very fast paced, sort of dealing with the direct consequences of finding this thing and coming into this kind of power, and dealing with people who want to exploit that power for their own purposes, whether it's a government agency or the police or just a greedy pizza parlor owner who wants to use it like a walking billboard. There's all sorts of problems on top of the ravenous mutated insects that are terrorizing the city. The second arc sort of grows the scope of the project and makes the uh, sort of stakes a lot higher. We are introduced to new and interesting characters, including an alien named Inza, who is a lot of fun to see on the page. Uh, and there's a bunch of twists and turns for our established cast as well. So the story really evolves taking off from here. But this first chunk is a lot of fun and super satisfying in its own right.
Mm-hmm. So my next question is really silly, but I was going through the issues that you sent me, and I was looking at them, reading them, and I was just thinking, my mind kind of just runs with stuff. Um, if you had your own like alien contraption that allowed you to make anything into a mecha, what would it be and why? Like, because I was thinking, I was like, if you punch, because Derek punched the hot dog stand
Yeah,
cart, right?
that's the first one. Is this hot dog cart, and it turns into like a battle brawler with a condiment cannon and an umbrella shield, which is a joy to make. Those kinds of like just figure out what's in the environment and how we can turn it into something really fun.
Yeah, and
Um,
well, for me, I was thinking, I mean, could he do that with? And you probably couldn't do it in your comics, right? But I'm thinking like, could he do that with statues? Like, if I punched the Rocky statue, would the Rocky be automatically become a mecha? Like Abraham Lincoln statue, would he, get up from his seats or like
so
give him
we
big
we
boy,
reveal we reveal in an upcoming issue that a lot of the like what the glove can do is tied to the imagination of the wielder.
Mm-hmm.
So uh it is sort of up to each individual person that uses it, what they make with it. So you know, if you if you're thinking in very straightforward terms, you might punch it and it could either like become just a sort of battle, you know, armor version of the statue itself, or it could morph into something entirely different. um there's a lot of things to discover about what the glove can do, that yeah, we're building up toward, and do hint at by the end of this first arc. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had to pick something, I'm from Chicago, I would love to punch the bean. So so that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's sort of the beauty of the glove, is it gets your imagination running wild. Like, oh, what would I
Mm-hmm.
punch?
So when you and Dalton Shannon, your co-creator,
Mhm.
first started writing Mechaton, did either of you ever imagine like actually following through on completing the series, or ever like did you ever think you would get this far in it while also working on other projects?
Yeah, is a little wild. I don't, yeah, I don't know if we ever expected to get here, but we've been lucky enough to, you know, capture a lot of people's attention and imagination, and the fan mail is great. Please keep sending that. I love hearing about how, particularly people will tell me like my, you know, my middle schooler kid is constantly asking when the next one is going to come out. I'm like, yes,
Oh,
we hooked another one. Like that's uh that really makes my day every time. Yeah, no, I think, you know, we had a plan for it and we thought it would be really cool to do, but we were, you know, aware that at any point people could lose interest, or it could just not work out. But we've been very lucky that there's been enough groundswell and really love for the project and what we're doing to keep it going this long, which is why we're able to make a trade paperback. That's an insane thing. This is our first really completed, you know, gathered, collected book that we've been able to do, aside from an anthology that we put together a while ago, a couple of years ago. But that was really like off the ground, just trying to get something out there.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Whereas this is really building on something that we've been working on for a really long time, and have put a lot of love and care into. Not that we didn't love our original stories, but it just feels different.
Yeah.
The production is the style of production, and the way we're putting it out feels much more significant.
Mm-hmm. So when you I guess when you created and completed other comics and graphic novels, whether they're individual projects of your own or working with, Dalton or other collaborators over the years, um, what do you do with the works in progress that you've, I guess, abandoned or I guess put on the back burner?
Yeah, I'd
And
like to think they aren't abandoned.
yeah. I mean, abandoned is a strong word. I mean,
Yeah.
I have work, and people are like, oh, it's been abandoned. It's like, no, it hasn't been abandoned. I've been writing it in my head. I just haven't written it down on, haven't
Oh
typed it
well,
up.
we're constantly the one of the great privileges of working in comics is that, you know, as much of a curse as it is, as we sometimes feel like it is, to have such a slow production time, because you have to, you know, after writing it, you have to deliver it to an artist, and you know, for 20 pages, it's generously a fast pace. You're going to get it out in about a month, maybe.
Hmm.
And it's still got to go through colors and letters. Like it just takes a lot of time to make stuff. But that means that we as writers have a lot of time in the in-between moments to go, okay, well, I have this idea. Let's write that. Let's work on that a little bit. And so that can sit in one form or another, whether it's an outline or a completed script, for as long as it needs to. And we're constantly looking ahead to what's working, what we feel like, how what kind of stories we feel like people are responding to, and really are always looking for opportunities to dig up those stories that we do want to tell. You know, and hopefully one day we just get popular enough that the genre doesn't matter anymore, and we can dig it up and people will just read it because it's us. That would be the dream. But yeah, for the moment, it's we're always kind of in a holding pattern of we have a couple of graphic novels that we would love to be able to make. We're just waiting for the right time to bring them out. We have, yeah, both of us, Dalton and I, both have written novel length prose stories that we would love to be able to deploy as soon as we feel like there's enough faith between us and the readers that they would be willing to, extend that far outside of their comfort zone to read something of ours. Yeah, we would love to put that out.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not that they're abandoned. It's just that they are. We're constantly making new stuff, and we're sort of, we put them to the side and say, okay, when the time is right, we'll pull this out.
Mm.
And a couple of those things are being dug out. Dalton right now is preparing to launch his first ever prose novel on Amazon up in March. I've had the pleasure of editing that, and I've got a piece that I've been working on for about a year that I'm going to be working on right after this Kickstarter and presenting to the public. Might give it's topical because tomorrow is Valentine's Day at time of recording, so I might be giving a first peek to some people then, but we'll see.
Cool, 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 cool. It's just hearing all this is just like I'm kind of slow with my writing, but you guys are just churning
Yeah,
stuff out left and
I
right.
do feel like everyone does it at their own pace,
Mhm.
and if yeah, I don't want to discourage anyone. I feel like I'm slow all the time. I feel like I could be doing more and being more active all the time. And then I look at the backlog that I have and how much stuff that I still want to write. Uh, and I realize I'm doing fine. And I think that is something that we have to be kinder to ourselves about in the creative process. Like everyone's process looks different. As long as you're making stuff and you're happy with what you're making, I think it's perfectly reasonable to say you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, I have to remind myself and others as like, just because you haven't written anything in a month or even like a year, you're still
Yeah.
a writer because,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're just writing in your head or writing on your notes app or whatever, or just taking stuff down on sticky notes like I used to, you're still a writer. Just because you haven't published anything in a while
Yeah.
doesn't take that away. It doesn't take away that work that you've achieved, that you worked
Yeah.
hard for, it's still there. It's just,
Absolutely.
you
And like the environment that we work in, the publishing environment that we work in, whether it's indie or whether it's traditional, is so like mean and hard on people.
know.
It's worth taking the time to just be nice to yourself because you can't rely on the industry to be kind to you. So be kind to each
Mhm.
other and be kind to yourself for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, is there anything else you wanted to share about MegaTon Volume 1? Maybe the rewards for potential backers?
Absolutely. So there's two versions of the trade that we're doing. We have just the story and the covers. Sorry, we have a cover gallery that we're doing to show off all the lovely artwork that we've made for this series, as well as the full 108 pages that are available right now and ready to print. We also have a deluxe edition that includes back matter, a lot of art that hasn't been seen before, stuff like character sketches and sorry, my doorbell's going off. Character sketches and page breakdowns and things like that. So there's a lot that is interesting, or that is interesting for especially fans of the series to come back and look at. Um, yeah, there's definitely something for everyone. If you just want the story, that's there for you. If you just want the story in digital form and you can't afford the shipping, totally fine. That's what you want to go in on this. Yeah, if you're a collector and you want everything to do with Mechaton, we have all of the covers available in the add-ons. So truly, we want beginners to feel welcome. We want fans to feel welcome, and like they're getting something good out of this campaign. So, yeah,
Yeah, and then I'm seeing some copies of other like the
yeah,
by visibility anthology, and then you have Descent into Dread anthology,
mhm.
all signed copies. Um what are those add-ons
Yeah,
or
as
oh,
add-on. So when as an add-on to the order, if you want to check out some of our previous work, we have, yeah, as you mentioned, the Descent into Dread anthology is a great horror anthology me and Dalton worked on. Uh, From the Static is the Band of Bards anthology. I have the opening story in that. It's called The Infant. It is very creepy, and it's set on sort of like golden age of whaling, Arctic Sea. They cut open a whale and find something they shouldn't. Um, and then we have two anthologies from Cat Calamia called By Visibility that were extremely successful on Kickstarter and continue to be some of the most popular work that we put out at cons. But yeah, I have stories in both of those, so definitely can recommend any of those, and just anything that strikes your fancy, add on to the order. Um, yeah, that way you can get more than one books, and the shipping gets nicer the
mhm,
after your initial thing. We have to cover our initial costs and packaging and whatnot, but it doesn't add too much onto it to get additional books uh, and materials.
mhm. Cool. So, will you be at any cons this year?
We
And,
would love to be.
uh-huh.
I will be at C2E2 either. I'm currently on the wait list for the artist alley, but as just a professional and as someone who wants to network and hang out with my colleagues, yeah, I'll be at C2E2 for sure. And then we'll be looking for other conventions uh, to booth at and sell books at. Unfortunately, right now there's a bit of a gap between. I don't know what's going on in the con world. There seems to be fewer of them, and they're choosier. Um, so we don't have any lined up at the moment, but I'm hoping that sooner or later we can have some uh, uh, yeah, we can have some tables set up, because I absolutely love meeting people and getting the book out there and seeing people's faces light up when they realize how cool the concept for the books sound.
Mhm. Have you ever thought about doing any, I guess, signings at local
We've
comic
done
shops?
we've done some book shining signings before, and they've been really good. I'm really looking forward to Free Comic Book Day. That's one of the most exciting times of the year. We had a booth at what was it? Uh, G Mart Comics in Chicago, and yeah, all day long, just nonstop people coming in, hearing about the book, getting excited, and yeah, it was really special. We that was I think that was maybe our best day ever in terms of in terms of sales, and it was all people local in my community, and they were all extremely excited about what we were doing. So it's that is one of the most invigorating things that you can experience, and I very much look forward to at least doing that.
That's good. So, where can people find you online?
Uh, Easiest place is wellsthompson.com. It's my web. It's just my name, the website. I am on Twitter. I am on Blue Sky. Twitter is awful, as you know. So I will be on for however long it's available. Like it's functional, but who knows how long that will actually be.
Mhm.
If you want a more if you want a more direct way and surefire way to make sure you're keeping up with me, I recommend my Substack, my newsletter, Comics, Cats, and Cocktails, which you can find on my website or on Substack. Those are easy ways to keep in contact with me. You get behind the scenes looks at comics we're working on. You get cocktail recipes. I was a server and bartender for several years, so I've got a huge backlog of those. And you get pictures of my cats, of which I have five.
You have 5 cats?
I have five, yeah. Noodle, Bug, Gilly, Cornifer, and Quaylag.
I think of what was Noodle and
Noodle, Bug, or
I think
Noodle,
Bug was
yeah,
the one
Bug.
that I met the last time. I
It's
think that was the only
oh
one.
no, you haven't met Bug. No one's met Bug.
Oh,
Bug is a very quiet squirrely, kind of doesn't let anyone look at him. But
Oh,
yeah, I have two calicos, Noodle and Quaylag, and they're extremely personable. And Gilly is a tortie, and she likes to be up in my face sometimes too. So
I don't know which one I met the last time, but I just know there was one. I know one. I don't know about the other four.
sure.
All right. Well, thank you again to Wells Thompson, co-creator, I should say, behind the MechaTon comic series for joining us here today to promote Volume 1, now on Kickstarter until March 6th. All of Wells' socials and website, as he just mentioned, will be listed in this episode's details alongside the Kickstarter link for those who are interested. Again, I am KS Garner, and you have been listening to the Solo Nerdbird podcast. Thank you.